Yeah, I was 11 years old. I was in year 6 and my mother passed away from breast cancer.
Yeah.
So she was originally misdiagnosed, and then when she went back to the doctors, it was sort of too late. So she didn't have much longer left to live.
Blake Lawrie scores the first try of his NRL career.
You're really motivated because you got so much to prove and so many people to, I guess, shut up in a way. That's like the mindset going forward. Got down on the knee and bawled my eyes out like I haven't never before, just because so emotional and happiness.
For sure.
And then asked her, will you marry me? And then she bawled her eyes. It was just a special moment, very special moment. That's something you'll never forget.
G'day. Welcome back to another episode of A Lot to Talk About. It is your boy, the captain of the ship, the man in charge, Bradley J. Driver. Of course, you can call me Brad. Blessed to be here with another incredible guest. But before I introduce him, we have a familiar face from the podcast, now featuring in 2 episodes, but here for his first as a co-host. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the NRL's best centre of 2023. I'm calling it early. Definitely not the most handsome man in the room, but not a bad fucking face to have on the pod. Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to the one, the only, Mr. Zac Lomax.
Thank you, old boy. Thank you very much for having me on.
Mate, it's a blessing once again. And our guest, one of the biggest hard men in the NRL. Bit of a good soul, an old soul, I would say. A real gentleman, a handsome fellow. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your favourite front rower, the one, the only, Mr. Blocka Lawrie. How are you, brother?
Very well, thanks, Brad. Thanks for having me on today.
Mate, such a pleasure. It's so nice to be here with both you boys. You're both very good mates, which I'm sure any of the Dragons followers, fans, any NRL fans would know. You boys are a consistent feature around Wollongong area. Probably a few too many coffees, if I can say so myself.
Yeah, definitely. I've had to restrict my coffee intake to an almond piccolo because the extra shot flat white was just 3 or 4 of them a day just adds up to too many.
Yeah.
But it's still better than what Zac drinks with a little oat cappuccino with 2 sugars or a shot of honey these days.
I thought it was an orange mocha frappuccino, but
it's something.
he must order that only when he's with me.
Mocha, which one?
Mochaccino. Haven't you seen Zoolander?
It's not mocha.
Haven't you seen Zoolander? Orange mocha frappuccinos.
You're Australian, not American.
Yeah, okay. This is true. Way. It's such a pleasure to be here. Mate, we're here not for Zac today, not for me, but for you. We're here to support your story, to share it, to get to the crux of it, and I guess to give the fans and the people, the listeners, the viewers of the podcast, a bit more of an insight into your life. And mate, you've had a unique experience, and I've had the pleasure of sitting down for a coffee and hearing your story, and now we have the pleasure of doing that on the pod. So I want to say thank you, and I guess my first question, which is usually a consistent theme of the pod, is to basically go to childhood, because I think that's where the context of your life is created. A big part of your early years are what make you the man you are today. So give us an idea of where the love for rugby league was first found and grown, and what childhood for Blake Lawrie looked like.
Yeah, well, thanks for those kind words, Brad. So childhood was a bit different to some and the same to some as well, I guess. Everyone's got a unique upbringing. Everyone's story is a bit different, but so I was first fell in love with football, as long as I can remember. I remember I played soccer when I was about 6 years old, and all my uncles played footy. My dad loved footy. My pop loved footy. So I guess it's come from, I sort of had no choice, I guess, to love and play rugby league. So I played soccer my first year. I think I was about 6 years old, and then I didn't like the round ball. I think I was a goalkeeper. I don't know why they put me.
I was gonna say I can't see you playing anything other than keeper.
Well, the thing is, I was a really good kicker of the ball, so I was a striker.
If you've seen the skill that he's produced at training, sometimes you'd seriously be questioned.
You'd be shocked at how talented I am. And sometimes I just don't get the opportunity to do it in the game.
Straight up and down front rower. That's it.
As if, mate. I've got a little bit. I've beat you in a goalkeeping comp, and you myself and Dan Alvaro feed.
Anyway,
okay.
Believe it or not,
I like it.
So played soccer first, my first sort of sport. 6 years old, and then that was short-lived, my soccer career. So I could be like Ronaldo, could be earning millions. Would be nice, but then went over to footy. Played my junior football for the Dapto Canaries, the mighty Dapto.
Yep.
I was raised in Dapto, grew up in Dapto. Played my junior footy for obviously Dapto Canaries, as I just said before. It was actually one of my first coaches, Mick Taylor, gave me the nickname Blocka. and it's still
Okay.
stuck with me ever since. So yeah, and then football was playing juniors. I was always a big kid, as you can imagine. Always bigger than the rest of my size. Come through the grades. My first sort of rep team was the under 11 South Coast, I think it was, in year 6. That was sort of a big year for myself. Obviously, you really learn how you play footy at that age. I guess when you versed, like I remember the size of this McKillop team when we went down to Bateman's Bay and versed. There were some big kids, absolutely massive, and I thought I was a big kid, but you versed some different blokes there, that's for sure. And then made a decision to go over to west suburbs, Red Scum, in the age of 13. That was more just to more play with just wanted to change, I guess, at that age. It's probably harshly criticised by my mates back at that though. Obviously got a couple of mates from back there. They still criticise me for it.
Because they're rivals, hey?
They were very big rivals, rivals. And
I
we
even
used to
remember my early days playing footy because I was young when I finished up, and like there was always and I didn't play for either team, but it was always known both those teams hated each other.
Yeah, they did, definitely. And we used to always come up against them in the semi-finals. So you don't start playing semi-finals till the age of under 10s.
Yep.
So 10s, 11s, 12s, we always come up against West or Thurrool in the semi-finals, and they had some really good players in both teams, and we never got through to the grand final. So it was always either Western, Thurrool, or...
Block was the guy that went from team to team, and he always went to the team that was the strongest.
Who's it about? Is it about me or is it about Zach?
Yeah,
is he just want to try and push it on me, or is he trying to play for me?
He went to the team. He played for about 4, 5, maybe 6.
I'll get to that
local
and let the people know how many I play for. I'll be honest and truthful. And now you're talking crap.
Yeah, you go, mate. You go.
Yeah, see, mate, zip it, my day. So then I went to West for 13s, 14s, 15s. Had some really good coaches there, learned a lot of footy. I think that was some really important years of my life with the coaches and the quality of players I played with as well. We won the under 13s grand final undefeated. We versed Albion Park. A couple of my really good mates at Albion Park still today. We beat them when it was a pouring down rain. I remember that day very clearly. Under 14s, we had like I said, another really good team, and we won that grand final again there. 14s was when I first went into the Harold Matt system. I first got picked up by my manager, Dave Riola. He's still my manager today. And I think a couple of months later, I signed my first contract with the Dragons at 14.
Yeah, wow.
And then went I can't remember back then. I think I just paid for school fees. I can't remember back then. That's a long time ago. Too many head knocks since then.
I don't know.
You want to see?
Yeah,
he's kicking me out.
I'm starting to think we just narrow that camera zoom and
100%. I'm more than happy
push
to
him off the side.
So so the 14s was like when I first got picked up. So my manager today, as I said before, Dave Riola, and I got my first contract. I think it was a 2 or 3 year deal. It wasn't like any cash or anything. They only paid for school fees. I think school fees like $330 for the year or the quarter or something like that. Because I was at Illawarra Sports High at the time, and it's a big school for the sports program, rugby league program.
Sorry, can I ask on that before you proceed? That feeling of being signed at 14, does that give you the glimmer of hope? Is that the confidence boost to go, hey, I'm on the right track here, a career as a professional footballer is possible?
You could say that. I think I was one of the first in my age in a local area to have like a contract or a manager. But I've always been nervous, and I've always second guessed myself. Like I'm not the arrogant type. Well, he might say different. I'm not the arrogant between us two, but I'm not really arrogant type. And saying, no, I think I'm destined for greatness, I should say. But I'm not like that type. But I was I was more nervous. I still remember it clear as day. My manager come over, he wanted to sign me. I just had to sit down in a meeting with my dad and myself, and it was like, I was so nervous. I remember, like as a 14-year-old kid, as you can imagine, it was like, someone wants to come sign me, be my manager. But that's obviously the path that everyone takes at a young age to get to where they are. But then again, if you don't have a manager, it doesn't mean I don't think that's true at all. So as I said, 14, then went into the Harold Matts. My coaches were Adam Bazina and Michael Stone. And Harold Matts, I was age up, played for some quality players, played for like Justin Hastings, still plays around now, and all that. And that was a tough pre-season. Like you never really know football. Like you play your local and all that stuff. You go up to Sydney, you play a couple of Sydney schools like the Endeavour and all that stuff. As I was in for Illawarra Sports High. But yeah, I remember that year. That was a tough year. I still think that was one of the hardest years of football I've ever played. It was age up, Harold Matts in the front row. I think some of the Penrith teams you versed, the Parramatta's, just like as a little fat white kid playing against some big boys. I'll tell you that. It was I still reckon that was one of the hardest years I played. And then the following year, I made Harold Matts again. That was under 16s, and I actually captained that. I think Bez was my coach again then. And then following year, we didn't have much success in my Harold Match year, so I got some really close mates. I had like Ruben Garrick and Jay Field playing. Jay Field obviously over in England at the moment. Has a really good rugby union player, Rhys Short. He's over in France now playing. I still believe he could have gave NRL a good crack. Ryan King as well. He was local junior. I played with him at West before he went to Roosters. Shortly followed after that.
He's over in the UK now too, isn't he?
I think
Whitehaven?
So. Yeah. Yes, I'm pretty sure. I haven't really spoke to him too often lately, but yeah. So then following year went into the SG Ball 18s, and I think Billy Millard and Sean Timmins were our coach. Really enjoyed that year. Billy's a really good coach, and Sean Timmins is a great bloke to have around the group. Obviously, former Origin winner, Steeler great, St George Illawarra Dragon great. I think that was really important. But yeah, I did learn a lot of Billy Millard that year. That was a really tough year as well. I remember it clear as day. We were actually we started the year on fire, and one of our best players and probably our best player. I think he did get player of the year still. He only played 6 games and it's only a 9-game comp. Nathan Leatinanga done his MCL, done his knee, and we lost him, and we pretty much fell off the cliff. I think we won our first 4 and he didn't play another game. I think we lost 5 in a row, and I actually I had broken bones before that, but in that last game of SG Ball we needed to win to make finals. I actually had my first really serious injury. I'd done my syndesmosis and stress fracture in my navicular at the same time.
Okay.
That was a tough year because I was in a moon bit for 6 months. Couldn't play GIO Cup, so Year 12 footy. That's what everyone stays at school for, sort of thing. If you want to play footy, GIO Cup was like the pinnacle. Like years before, we had like Mez, Sammy Clune, all that stuff go up. Yui Aiken, all that. Jack Bird, like a lot of boys at Illawarra Sports High play in the GIO Cup and go on and make semi-finals and that stuff. And I couldn't really be a part of it, so that was a really tough year. Just after because I was planning to go back and play for Schreiber at the time and never really got to.
Does that make you start to doubt, like an injury like that at a pinnacle moment in your early career, does that make you doubt whether you'll get the opportunity to really show up and secure an NRL contract?
Yeah, definitely, because obviously everyone your age or people around are making state sides, whether it be CHS, they did State of Origin 16s and 18s, and obviously GIO Cup, like the following year, that's when like a lot of and even like people my age or in my team were making rep sides, and I was getting a bit frustrated in a way because like I didn't get the opportunity to try and make those sides. So that was a tough year. And then I remember my first game back, when I played rugby union 7s, I don't know why I done it. Still to this day, it frustrates me, but I actually tried to do this big hit on someone and I hyperextended my elbow. And it was my first game back, and I was like, oh my God, like I knew my elbow was no good. Anyway, got scans the week later, and the surgeon, when I had to go see a surgeon, and he goes, yeah, we're going to have to operate on it, and you have to spend 3 months on the sideline. I was like, oh, not happening. So I strapped it up for like 18 months and just copped it, because I obviously just spent 6 months on the sideline.
For sure.
And I'm just like, I'm not spending more time on the sideline. I just can't do it because I just want to play footy, because obviously I love footy. I just want to play. And I was coming into my 18, so we're going into 20s the year after. I think then I was doing part-time with the NRL pre-season at that time, so I was doing two days a week.
Okay.
So I just didn't want to go and spend some more time off the sideline, because I wanted it there and then, you know what I mean? But now looking back at it, it's probably like I can't straighten my elbow now, like all the way. It still restricts me by...
Can I challenge you on that though? Because I think looking back in hindsight, you'd go, maybe I should have had the surgery. But do you think, had you have spent the time on the sideline, you would have found your way into the system? Or do you think you would have been swallowed up by the amount of guys who are trying to get in a little bit later?
Nah.
Because now you can see that now you deserve to be there.
Yeah.
But when you're at that age where everyone's trying to make it, what do you think that year and a half would have done? Would it have pushed you to the side, or do you think you still would have found your way through?
I still think I would have found my way through. My dedication to my hard work. I work, as probably Lomax can back up. I work pretty hard and I'm pretty competitive at sort of things. So I don't really like losing in too many things. So if I had the opportunity to train, I would have proven myself. And as I did, I was doing 2 days a week. It was pretty actually tough that year because I was doing Tuesday, Friday with grade. And then Monday, Thursday night, we were getting flogged at 20s. So it was like a 3-week period there where I was getting flogged on a Monday night, getting flogged at a Tuesday day, extras on a Wednesday, getting flogged on a Thursday night, sometime in Sydney, and getting flogged at Friday at grade training. And then Saturday was extras again. And it was like, that was a tough year because it was like, wow, like, and then because they didn't realise, it was probably poor management, they didn't realise that we were going back. There was a couple, I think it was St George Illawarra, Duffo, Hosty and myself who were going back. And they didn't realise that we were getting touched up on our big days were Monday, Thursday. They thought our big days were Tuesday, Friday as well. So some boys started breaking down. Like a couple of us come to grade train, like, why are you so not got no energy? Because we're getting flogged like 4 days a week. Like we usually, even now, we're only doing 2, max 3 days a week. And then we were doing 4 at 18 and training with like Russell Packer, Lisa and Armour and all that stuff. And then Jack DeBell in his prime at the time was like, oh wow, like you really know you're alive now. But following that, so that was a tough year. I think it was 17 time, 18. Started playing 20s under Hetty. Spent 2 years in 20s. My following second year, after my second year in 20s, I sort of went into the grade full time. This is 2016 pre-season into 17, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so I was 19 going 20. First full pre-season. That was a you really know you're alive there.
For sure.
Vaughnie just come from Canberra. We still had Russ. Still had I think James Graham come that year.
No.
Yeah, James Graham come in 17. No, he come the year after. No, so we just signed Benny Hunt, I think.
Russ was 16.
Russ was 16, but he was still here.
16.
He finished in 16. Yeah, I got my years mixed up. So yeah, that was. And so Lisa and Armour still here at the time. So Jolly Thompson still had some tough old heads in the middle. That was when did you come in? 16. 16, 17, eh?
No,
17, 18.
I was 17.
What did you debut? 18.
18.
Yeah, you come in 17, 18. So we call our seasons 16. So like now we're working towards, we're already calling next year. Like it's 2022 to 2023.
Yep.
So Sloppy, when would you say? Sorry, Sloppy's that's
a nickname.
I've
got a couple. I've got Slop.
I was looking around the room thinking, who are we calling Sloppy?
I mean, you could probably compare yourself to Sloppy as well. At the moment, if you want to give
Mate, just remember who the captain of the ship is here. Eh? I've got the buttons in front of me, so be careful.
But when do you think was a turning point or a moment that you thought, I'm not far off here. I'm training amongst these boys, and obviously you're obviously a bigger body, and you're a fair bit bigger than the rest of your crew that you were training with. All through your juniors, but was there a moment that you thought, I'm not far off here, grade's not far around the corner?
Yeah, probably the feedback I got from the assistant coaches and the head coach, like Dino and Mary, they're two really respected members of the game. I think they kept feedback, and I probably got the respect of the older boys with my intensity of how I trained as well, as you'd probably know firsthand. Like I've only got one sort of speed, and that's bull at the gate, and my talk, I'm pretty vocal, like in the intensity of the side of things, like in certain drills. So I guess I sort of earned a little bit of respect from the older fellas quicker than I expected, but I was still nervous in a way, but like I knew that this is my opportunity. Like I'm not gonna get dominated here. And no one goes in there and is like, I'm just gonna let because like you experience some blokes that played 200 first grades in there. I'm not gonna let him. I'm going to fight for every inch, sort of thing.
For sure. Do you think, to double down on what Lawrie just said there, do you think that respect for any young player is earned in training?
100%. Yeah. 100%. I think it's the most important thing is you can get touted, you can be told that you're going to play NRL or you can get this, but if your teammates don't respect you, I don't think you're going to knock your teammate as a teammate. I wouldn't want to play with someone that you don't really respect, you know what I mean, or is not going to have your back in a way, or hasn't done the hard work.
Yeah.
I think obviously Slop, he prides himself on that, and he would definitely agree with me. But he tries to pride himself. Yeah, he's vocal amongst the playing group, but since he's come into grade, he's was almost like that clumsy lad that ends up like I've copped injuries off him before, and I'm telling him, if you went to any of the boys in our team, right, someone's injured, who was in the same tackle with him, it's Block every single time.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, they're the guys that you want to play with, and
sure.
I know the big fella won't say that, won't admit it, but if you went through and you asked everyone that he's played with, everyone in the 4-pack that's played with him, they're going to say love playing with him, because you just know that everything that he does, he gives, and he does it at train as well. But he's just that guy that has earned respect through just hard work, dedication. Wasn't given anything, and leaves it out there too. But doesn't leave a stone unturned every week at train. Obviously, he's got the cucumbers on at the moment. He's been off his feet for a little bit. But
well, sorry, you pulled out of a wrestle session because you had a sore sternum.
I'm outside back. I haven't even made the
Pulled
tackles.
out of a session.
I haven't made the tackles. I scored the tries.
I guess just backing up Zac there, like obviously thanks for your kind words there, long nose, but he's got extra long nose. Sorry. Cough. Yeah, like I'm not the type of player that can bust a line. Like I know my limits. Like I'm not the fastest player. I'm not the most skillful player, but I work hard at my craft, and my intensity and my dedication to put my body on the line for my teammates is what has got me to where I am, and I guess it's what makes the teammates. I don't know. I haven't asked them if they like playing with me, but I guess like I feel as if they do respect me in that way, and like they really enjoy playing with me. So that's just what I am, because I know I'm not like I said before. I'm not going to throw 15 offloads. I'm not going to break a line. I'm not going to score 15 tries a year. You know what I mean? I've only scored 1 in 100 plus games, so it's not.
Do you see tries?
He definitely said.
I did see that try. Yeah, I actually seen you the day after. Remember, you were at Liam having a brew.
Bingo.
Do you want to run the?
No, I'm not running the back. Go on next.
I have to ask, because for me it's obvious that to get the praise that you just got there off Zachy, to get the praise that he knows you'd get off the boys for being that kind of man, for being the guy that you want to be in the trenches with. I don't just think you become that player. Like it's life that makes you that kind of man. And I know when I listen to athlete stories, or when I hear people speak who possess those qualities and those characteristics in their lives, it's part of who you are. It's part of who you are at the core. So what do you think makes you that kind of man?
Yeah, well, as in your story, Brad, you've got a fair upbringing as well. But I had like I said before, I told my football story before, my rugby league side of things. But everyone's had a different upbringing, different bit of adversity. And so at the age of 11, like I said before, I was 11 years old. I was in year 6, and my mother passed away from breast cancer.
Yeah.
So she was originally misdiagnosed, and then when she went back to the doctors, it was sort of too late. So she didn't have much longer left to live. So yeah, that was a tough year. And like I remember, I think I had 2 or 3 weeks off school, and all my family was staying at Nan and Pop's. My dad was obviously distraught. He just lost his partner, and obviously the partner to his 4 kids, myself and my 3 other siblings. It's obviously very tough. And so we were raised by myself and my siblings, raised by Nan and Pop. And I guess Pop's a hard head, and Nan was really like stuck in the old ways for a long period there. And I said, Nan, it doesn't work like that. And Nan, like you obviously go through teething issues when I hit 14, 15, 16, you argue. But yeah, that was really tough. So I remember spending 2 or 3 weeks off school, and I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back because I just didn't want people to treat me differently or look at me differently, because you say they don't, but they definitely do, as you probably know firsthand, sure. And obviously you know as well as that. Like once people they try and actually you're okay, which is all with full respect. Like I understand, like they always, but it just gets a little bit too much at times.
Yeah.
Especially when you go, like when you are doing okay, I guess you get frustrated.
That it's brought to the surface.
It's always
again.
brought to the surface again. Always brought to the surface again. I never really. I went and seen like a counsellor for it and all that stuff when I spoke about it, but you never really you can never get over it and like accept it.
No, of
like
course.
you've always got the why, like just why, like why does it need to happen to myself, like in my family, like why, like Paul, Nan and Pop like have to bury one of their only daughter. My dad have to go through what he did. My youngest, like the thing that hurts me the most personally on this subject is, so I was 11 at the time. My brother just turned 7. My other sister just turned 5, and my younger sister was 2 years old, so she was still in nappies. So she grows up without that. Like obviously Nan's done an awesome job with my younger sister, but she grows up without knowing a mother. Like at 2 years old, I don't know about you, but I can't remember back when I was 4, 5, 6, even 7 years old, really, like glimpses. But imagine what she's like. She's just turned 17 now, and that's what hurts me the most personally. Like and that's probably, as my partner Emily probably, or my now fiance Emily, always respects about me. She always tells me, it's like how much you care for your siblings and your family, and it's like, yeah, well, I feel like I had to, you know what I mean? You grow up as like dad's away working and all that stuff, and they're like, and what we've been through, like we've built a different kind of bond. Like everyone's siblings got a different bonds and all that stuff. So that's just like, and mine's just different to other people's. You know what I mean? And it's like I'd give anything. I'll give my last. And Zach's really loyal to his family as well. Like he's very generous of his family, and I'm not too sure how you are with your. I know you're very, very close with your parents. But yeah, I'd give absolutely anything for them, and yeah, that's just how it is. Like if they needed somewhere to stay, like I'm in a position where I want to give them things, but then again, like they can't expect everything. They've got to go out and work hard for it as well at the same time. But so yeah, following that, I was raised by Nan and Pop. Could not thank them enough for how I am today and where I am. They are the pinnacle of me, sort of thing. They didn't have to do what they did. I could not repay them anything at all. Like they were so helpful for me. Like I am where I am today because of them. Like with no word of a doubt. Like yeah, Pop was a hard worker. Had to work an extra couple of years and more than wanted to. Could have retired, but had to look after myself and a couple of kids. Nan's Nan and always made lunches for school. Gave me a good pocket money here and $5 on the side. Don't tell Pop, you know what I mean? Sorry, Pop, it's coming out now 10 years ago, but you know what? I used to save a lot of the $5 on the side for pocket money for the day or for the lunches at the day. Probably why I was such a fat little kid, to be honest. Thanks, Nan. Always had chalky milks and all that stuff, but yeah, like they're the reason where I am today because of them too. Like they grew up on a little farm in Dapto. Little 6 acre. That's probably why I love the farm so much. So I'm still banging the door down to let Emily to let me buy a farm. It's not really going down too well. I'm nearly there. I'm about 60% there, but I've got to be all in. She's accepted as long as it's a lot close to the beach, she reckons. But I haven't got $10 million. Sorry, darling.
I have to say, you know, hearing that, obviously, incredibly sorry to hear. But I know, like you said, you're not looking for sympathy. It's made you the man that you are, and for me, it's actually the reason I connected with Zachy so well, and I think we become such good mates off the back of an interview, is to answer maybe the question that you had before. I'm not just super tight with my family, but similar to what you said, I owe everything to my family. Like I wouldn't be here if it's not for my family today. Like my health was in their hands for a long time, and I'm very lucky that to do what I do today, to be the man that I am, I owe everything to them. So I understand that, and that's the thing that I picked up with Zachy, his love, his appreciation for his family. And when we sat down to have our first coffee together, and the first time that we properly had a yarn, I could sense that too. And you know, you told me the story that you just told there, and I think for me that's a mark of a good man. And I think that's the mark of what's made you the man that you are as a footballer too. That want, that desire to carry the weight of your mates on your shoulders when you need to. The fact that you're willing to rip in because you know how much those relationships mean, because you know the quality of keeping good people around you and what it feels like to lose someone. And Matt, I want to commend you because I think people either go one way or the other. Some rise to the occasion, others use it as an excuse to be a victim. And it's easier said than done to rise to the occasion, because with grief comes pain, comes real pain, and you've chosen not to suffer in the face of grief, but to take it and use it as something that drives you, use it as something that fuels you, and mate, it's commendable.
No, thanks, mate. Thanks for that. Thanks for the kind words.
No, mate, honestly, you deserve it. And I think it becomes a mark of the man that you are today. And now that's a man playing in the NRL, a man, making a living. I have to say, a man, as you said now, freshly engaged.
You've been nearly a month now. You're thinking about it as well already. Sorry for the.
I'm not sure if anyone knows, but you only post about it every morning.
Yeah.
Multiple times a day.
Yeah, multiple times a day.
Yeah.
I know you're pretty active on your Instagram, but have you given everyone the lowdown on the new bride?
Look, people know that love wins. Love's a beautiful thing, as you say, and. There has actually, I don't know if you guys know this, so little story for everyone listening who maybe listened to...
No, because it's your day now, so let's...
Yeah, okay.
Little short ball, your turn.
Little short ball to me, straight into the gap. So 3 weeks ago, right, on the podcast, I had a guest Martin Heppel on. Now, if anyone at the time didn't know, and it's 3 weeks from when we released this, so it was really only a week ago that I had Martin on and recorded with him. And as we were recording, I was with the new bride, Soph, and Soph was watching live as I was recording with Martin on Zoom. Now, Soph hadn't met Mum at the time, and we'd planned to meet Mum 2 nights later for dinner. And so she said, I wouldn't mind coming to watch you do this pod, see it live. And to be fair, I don't blame her. I'm pretty good at what I do.
Play on. You call yourself a captain for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. So
people follow captains.
This is right. So... we're sitting there in the middle of the pod, and I'm filming at my mum's house at the day. She's at work, and I thought I just wanted somewhere quiet to shoot. Family was home. I usually shoot from home or on location with someone, but being a Zoom pod, thought I'll use mum's house while she's at work for the day. Now, Soph and I had been for a run in the morning. I'd cooked a romantic brekkie, and she was just rocking around in my hoodie and her running tights and a pair of shoes, and she said, promise me I'm not meeting your mum dressed like this. And I said, well, firstly, you look beautiful.
Nice.
Secondly, Mum's at work, right? So I said, don't stress. It's all good. It's just us. Mid-podcast, I'm sitting there and I hear the door handle turn.
Oh, no.
Now, little do I know, phone's on airplane mode. Mum's tried to call me 10 times. She's sick, needs to come home from work. I'm laughing on the inside because I'm like, they're about to meet for the first time and I'm in the middle of the podcast, so I'm not doing anything about it, right?
Nothing about it.
Mum walks in. Mum locks eyes with me. I lock eyes with Mum. I lock eyes with Soph. Soph lock eyes with Mum. And it's like, there they are, meeting for the first time.
Perfect.
I roll straight back into conversation, don't even say a word about it. They're behind the camera, they have a cuddle, they have a chat, they look like they're getting on great. And the guest, Martin, goes, I said something to him, I can't remember along the lines of what it was, but he said, he goes, mate, there is nothing I love more than when all my favourite people are in one room, and God, it's a beautiful moment. And I said, well, it's funny you say that, Martin, because I'm experiencing a beautiful moment in front of my eyes right now. I said, told him the story. My partner, Soph, hasn't met Mum yet. Mum's supposed to be at work. We're shooting at her house. Mum's just walked in the door, and then he goes, you are... His voice is like this. He goes, you are kidding, mate. When you guys have got 15 kids one day, you will remember that when your missus met your mum, Martin Heppel was in the room. That's the best.
That's by
so yeah, if everyone didn't hear that episode of the podcast, you may not know, but loved up. Bloody hell, it feels good. Feel a little bit lighter. Look a whole lot fresher.
It's been a while.
Mate, it's been a while. 26 years of searching for love, and I finally found it, you know.
When you talk about seeing good sights, can you tell me what are her honest opinion? What is her honest opinion on your shit red tights that you wear?
Yeah, they're not ideal.
Here we go. I knew this was coming.
Do your listeners know about your shit red tights?
This was paying about $1.05. This was shorter than black caviar or wings back in the day would have been if you brought up on the podcast here today.
Yeah.
I'll say something, boys. If you guys ever watch the Olympics, it's this little thing that happens every 4 years. The best runners in the world come to the main stage, and often they're wearing the Aeroswift tights. The Aeroswift tights. We're talking aerodynamic. We're talking, mate, when you've got a set of powerful glutes like I do, you may as well show them off. You know, they're not getting the love and attention they deserve in a pair of flary shorts. I guess similar to what you guys would run around in the male sports bras that I see you guys train pre-season in.
We have to wear them. They're GPSs.
Yeah, but you don't see ours.
Yeah, ours are under our
I
vest.
don't see ours.
Under your vest.
Under our
Yeah,
shirts.
see, obviously early in the preseason, you guys probably aren't as fine-tuned as I am at the moment, rig-wise.
You lifted
So
your shirt
it's-
up before, like in all honesty. I've got about 20 kilos on you and I'm looking a little bit better than you.
Mate.
I've got that much on myself.
Mate, this is fine-tuned for performance, and might I add, 50 kilometres coming up in 2-3 days, ultra marathon. So if you boys want to join,
50 k's a bit. How you going for Lawrie?
yeah,
I might do
50
5. I'll do 5 with you one day, not 50.
yeah.
What did you do with him that time?
Oh, I don't know.
We've done 21 before.
It's
Half
he's
marathon.
done 21 straight. Has he with you?
Half marathon, yeah.
Right, well,
That was-
we just rocked up.
That was
You just gave me. You just shot me.
What was your
a call and
time?
I was just like,
yeah.
let's do it.
We done it. It was actually just after actually, to be fair, we're coming up to our 1 year anniversary as mates.
Jesus, is it
Yeah.
that long?
It's gone quick. It's gone quick.
Go do it. No, it's just mate.
Wait, yeah,
Anyone who's listening to this would be, what the hell is going on? Eh?
100%.
But yeah, we're just after we'd shot our first episode together. He said to me,
Who's actually pace? So we do a pace. What do you?
What was it?
Because obviously we've been doing it. We've been doing a fair bit of long running. I mean, when we say long running, what's the longest we do? Say 2K.
You were doing 2K the other week
training?
and 1500. Yeah.
here we
So,
go.
let's
Hold
talk about it.
on.
Let's talk
He's
about
on
it.
the phone to me yesterday, bragging about his 2K pace,
Yeah,
right?
good luck. All I can
So-
say is good luck beating him.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
But-
it. Because I want to know, you pride yourself with your shit red tights and your shit runners, whatever they are, and your
Yeah.
crop tops. You pride yourself.
He's been shirts off
Yeah.
lately.
You pride yourself on being a good runner. So
Yeah.
what are we talking your pace is? So we're doing 1.5s, 2K max. What are you saying your time is? What
So
are we saying? Knowing that you're 65 kilos ringing out as well.
65. Is that all?
Skinny fat.
I've got
we
40
like.
on
I'm 83 kilos
I've
of
got 29.
fucking lean beef. Lean beef I am.
What'd your skinnies be? You reckon?
83.
My skinnies,
Yeah.
13%.
Yeah, that's not bad. Low
Oh,
either.
nah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
like-
front row's already less than you.
yeah,
Fat front row too,
but
right?
but to be fair, I'm just being modest here. I'm probably sub 10. To be honest, I don't really go by skinnies, but you'd see me on a front cover of some sort of magazine. That's how you'd compare it. Anyways, we'll move forward. You asked about pace.
Yeah.
Let me
Move
tell you about a
forward.
little thing called sexy pace. Sexy pace is the pace that you move at when things feel good, right? It's just long and slow. You
When could you let
stride.
fly?
And
Yeah,
slow.
long and slow. You just stride and you feel good. A little bit of sweat beading. You're in the motion. You feel the flow. You can go for days. That's sexy pace. And sexy pace is essentially what I run at 75% of the time. Sexy pace for me, 520 to 540.
It's good moving.
You're just cruising. You're having a good time. Live podcast. You ask the boys. We're going for a 3-hour long run. I'm talking for 2 hours 55 of it. I'm asking maybe one question. The rest of the time I'm talking. So comfortable in conversation. You're just flowing. 50Ks come out on Monday. I think we'll cruise even slower, to be honest. Probably just 6-minute pace. Just get going. And not bad for a kid with cystic fibrosis.
You a man or a kid? What are you calling yourself?
Mate, I'm still a young buck.
Okay,
Really.
fair enough.
The future's big. A long time ahead of me.
26.
26. 26.
Jeez.
26.
You found the one.
And I found the one. Essentially spend the rest of our lives together.
Why is it
so-
always stitching him up? What about your love life?
Talking
Yeah.
about influential women in her life. Slot, only freshly engaged
Yep.
Yeah.
to the love of your life, M, who is a policeman.
Policeman or policewoman?
Policewoman. Not bad. Not
Yeah,
bad from this
police-
bloke co-host of the show, he reckons.
Can you talk to us about the impact that she's had on your life as of yet?
Yeah, definitely. She's been huge, especially the last 5+ years. Like she's been when we've been living together for the last 3-4 years. But when she first moved in, she goes, "We're gonna need a dining table." Didn't have a dining table, as you can imagine.
The old TV
As a
dinners.
man,
And I tell you what,
didn't have
that could have seriously caused a bit of an uproar within them two,
Paying
because I tell you what, when we talk about money, we've got a tight ass here, and I tell you what, mate, she's Captain Tight Ass.
Okay.
And let me tell you,
she spends
that
her
would
money
have
well.
created a serious
Okay.
uproar.
She spends her money well.
Okay. So tell me, how long ago did you guys meet?
7.5 years ago now.
Where'd you meet?
First met her at the Shalaba Square. I first seen her, and I was with a couple of mates, and I asked, who's that sort of thing, and went from there. Done an
So
ad on Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff, and the rest is
Yeah.
history.
Who sent the first message?
I think it was Lawrie.
Yeah. Okay. What are you saying?
I can't remember. 7 years ago. Come on now.
Yeah, mate, that's
7
bullshit.
past
I
8
reckon
years
you
ago.
can remember word for word what you said.
Not
You
a
just don't want to air it
Not
here.
a chance.
I'm telling you,
She's got a good memory. She remembers where we went for our first date. and
Where'd you go for
everything
your first
there.
date?
She reckons a coffee club in Shalaba.
Not bad.
Not much has changed. Let me tell you.
I haven't been there for a couple of years.
He's still there.
I haven't
He's
been
still
there
there
for a couple of
with the same order.
Yeah.
It's the buttermilk pancakes with a side. What's your side with it?
I'm not getting buttermilk pancakes.
Yes,
I'm
you
laughing.
are.
I've never got butter.
Come on.
That was Vaughny. I haven't got buttermilk pancakes in my life.
Yeah, come on, bro.
No, so yeah, we've been, like I said before, when she first moved in, we went shopping for a dining table, TV unit, bigger bed, so she can get away from my snoring, so she reckons. But no, she's been really, really helpful for me. Like, obviously, she supports me in everything I do, and she's been my rock over the last however so many years. And I really love one thing about her. She's so dedicated. When she puts her mind to something, she goes not a bullet gate, all in. She's all in about something.
Yeah.
So
Does that motivate you?
definitely, and
Yeah.
it makes me happy to see how driven she is, because I'm very driven in my career as we sort of have to, and like
For sure.
and like my outside of football, like I'm very driven about certain things where you really have to. So she's been a great impact, and she's a real family person. She's got a lovely family. Her family's been awesome to me. Her parents and her sister. So yeah, her sister's actually my tutor at the moment, believe it or not, in my study.
Jess.
Study once a night.
Jess on
every
tutor
Tuesday
duties,
night.
hey?
Yep.
Imagine Slop trying to.
Mate.
She's got a hard gig, I'm telling you, because I'm.
How much are you paying her? You'd have to be paying her
Don't
some
pay her,
real,
don't
mate.
pay her. She.
I tell you what,
I'll
she's
put it
getting
in.
some
All
sort
I
of
have to
government
do-
grant for that,
all I
eh?
have
She's
to
getting a
do-
government grant for that.
All I
And
have
he
to
prides
do.
himself on being educated. Let me tell you.
I try to be. Like, everyone's got to try
Yeah.
to be. I'm better than you. What are you studying at the moment? Nothing, exactly.
Do you want to answer what?
What are you studying then?
No,
Nothing,
say
exactly.
actually.
So, but yeah, her family's been awesome to me. Like, obviously, they invited me over dinner when I was at home by myself. Nan and Pop moved down there at the time, and Dad moved out to Balgownie, so I got invited over dinner nearly every night. So it was perfect.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Like, I don't even know if you know. I think you would know this, Lawrie. Like, I know Em's family. Our mums are really good mates and, like, all connected for years and years. So that's really the first time that I'd heard of you is through family talking about Em's partner, or, you know, and they always just said, oh, there's this bloke, he's a bit of a burger and all that. And I
Never
just
said
thought,
that.
That's all.
No one's
But
ever
no,
said
but it is true, right?
Yeah.
When you find, and whether that's a partner, whether it's mates, whether it's people in your life, if you want to do what you boys do, which is perform at a high level and play professional sport, you need good people around you, because the media isn't always trying to build you up. The critics of the game, and at times, sometimes, you know, the fans are brutal too when things aren't going to plan.
Can't know what.
So, bloody oath.
You look at a fan the wrong way, and they go, "Oh, he's a
Yeah.
such and such."
Yeah. Talk to me about how much footy you would talk at home, because that's something that I'm curious about. Like, I feel like, you know, in the year that I've known you, Lawrie, we don't talk that much footy.
No.
It might be a 2-second, like, how you feeling after the weekend? You good, sweet, training's great, fantastic. Like, let's talk about life. Do you feel like you go home and talk footy, or do you like to keep the chat a little bit separate from and have a bit more balance at home?
I used to be pretty bad. I used to come home and just, like, I had a rough day, so we lost a bad game. I used to come home and take it out on Emily in a way, and it comes to a point where she used to get really upset about it, and I was like, yeah, you're right, I shouldn't be coming home and bringing this home to you. This is our relationship. I should be able to, like people always say, try and leave work at work.
Yeah.
But because football's such a big part of your life, like, you've got to do it every day. Like, even when you're away from footy, like, you're thinking, oh, yeah, I need to do that, or such and such. But I'm better these days. I'm definitely improved over. I feel as if I've improved, and I hope Emily could back me up here. But over the last sort of 2 or 3 years, I come home and express how I'm feeling about it. So she come home. We've actually been doing this pretty well lately. Come home and ask how our day, and I let her go first. Obviously, ladies first, true gentleman, as you said before.
Yeah.
Then go, oh, mate, zip it.
Gentlemen,
But,
gentlemen, right?
Yep. Yeah, bingo, sorry, mate. I didn't say that.
Thank God. that was close to leaving me hanging. Jesus.
Yeah, so obviously go through, you talk about your day, done this and that. So, and she asked the other day, a bit frustrated, and I was a bit frustrated. I didn't train well one day the other week, and I was a bit frustrated, and I was like, oh no, go back next day train and be better. But she got worried because, like, I don't I haven't really spoke about. I was just frustrated with my personal day at training, just me personally. It wasn't about team or anything. And I kept asking, "You okay? Are you okay?" It's like the thing, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Like I said before, and I was like, "Yes, darling, I'm sweet." Like it's. Yeah. I just had a bad. She goes, "Why'd you have a bad day?" Like she's trying to find the bottom of it. I was like, "No, there's no reason. I just dropped a couple of balls and whatnot today. It's just okay. Like I'll be better." Like I guess I've been a bit better, like I said before, definitely have been better over the last couple of years, but I used to be real bad, especially when coming into first grade and I played 6 games my first year and then 9 games my second year of first grade, and I come in and out, I was like, I want to be playing first grade, and then I should just take it out on her sort of thing, but I definitely improved like that. And away from football, Zac and I probably speak a little bit about footy when we go, but for a coffee and stuff like that, but not too much. We've obviously had to manage it as our careers have gone on, because if you go footy too much, it just takes its toll and it weighs you down. But so I do a couple of things like outside of footy, like keep my mind busy, like to go for coffees with other mates or go play golf. I really like get my mind off footy and by playing golf and whatnot. So yeah, I've definitely, like I said before multiple times now, I've definitely got better over the last several years, but early on I was pretty bad. What about yourself, Zac?
I agree. Like, cause it's easy. It's like the emotional roller coaster. Like seriously, one day or after one game, and it's so easy to come back and just take it out on your partner with your family. Like, cause you just want to talk to them, and it's easy to play the blame game, and it's like, but you don't. As Slop said, you want to try and leave it there and brush it. Like, I mean, but there's not sort of too many other I guess jobs where you're continually judged week in, week out, session. So every session, you're on show there. You want to make sure you have a good session, because you know if you've had a good session, you've had a bad session.
Of course.
I mean, you go there and you drop a couple of balls, like you're there. The next video session, you go and it's up there to show in front of everyone. Or you have a bad game. You go home, you lose. Obviously, you spew and you lost. Then you turn up on the Monday, first thing review, boom, you see up, Zac, he's let in the inside shoulder, he's knocked the ball and he's let it try in, you know what I mean? So you know that it's there, but it's just getting that balance right in regards to, your family couldn't give a shit whether you played well, played the best ever. They just want to see you happy. You know what I mean? And that's the only thing that I've learned is, after every game, I talk to my old man, and my old man's, it keeps it very simple. He's like, "Good game, mate. This is what you probably could have done, blah blah blah." But Mum thinks I'm the best player on the field every week.
Yeah,
and
your family always do.
My nan, and my missus. Oh, jeez.
My mum's watched me play since I was 4, and she still barely knows what a forward pass is.
Yeah, okay. I mean? So she's just watching you. It's funny, like here's a funny story for you that can relate to that. When I started this podcast, my old boy would be down Dagwood on a Friday night telling everyone that, if you heard of Joe Rogan, my young bloke rips it in and shits on Joe Rogan. Mate, listen to Rogan, listen to Brad shits on him. Yeah. And I'm like, mate, settle down. Perfect. Settle down. But that's their role, right? And that's that support. And that's why I think for people listening, for people watching, the people you surround you with, that circle, that immediate circle or that inner circle is so important. And you're going to have hard days. You're going to have tough days. And you need people who are real with you, but you need people who are real but then will lift you up. Yeah, and definitely. I think that's the beauty of good mates, of good family. And, you guys have that, and you have that in each other too. And I'm curious, before we go too far away from partners and people in our lives, mate, it looked like you put on a bit of a show for that engagement. I'd like a little bit of a run through for the pod if we could.
And I'm actually
how long do you have?
Yeah,
how long do you have?
I'm actually impressed. It's a good story. I mean,
well, obviously you only want to do it once, so you only meant to do it once, so you want to make it very memorable.
Of course.
But I had a lot of help from my sister. Obviously, as a front rower, as a footballer, you definitely need a lot of help.
Front rower? You'd
have
not the same with an outside back.
idea.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
You would have no idea. And trust me, you think you do, it's a lot harder than you think. Trust me.
I've got one all planned out.
Already, it's been 3 months.
I've got one planned out.
To be fair, he had the Christmas tree up 3 months ago.
That's very fair.
And a photo.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no.
That's fair
enough.
So, was pretty romantic. Like I had a little idea. I actually got the idea. We were talking probably halfway through the year. Like, should do an Airbnb like out in the country or somewhere. And it was like, I started looking. I was like, geez, not many available for when I want to do it because like with football, we've only got a sort of set period. And in the off season, I plan to go to America as well. And I looked at trying to propose in America, and I was like, nah, it's too hard to get over there. I was like, I'm not doing that. But so yeah, hired out an Airbnb on back of a farm property at Mossvale sort of thing. She had no idea. I had the ring sorted, obviously. At this time, her sister took me up to multiple ring appointments, and that was a long day. Left home at 6:30 in the morning, got home at like 8 o'clock at night. That was pretty stressful trying to design the ring and all that stuff for something that she liked and all that stuff, because you're going to buy something, you're going to spend money on something, you're going to make sure she likes it.
For sure.
So yeah.
Actually, I think I went along to your first one.
No, we didn't.
Yeah,
go there.
no.
Oh, I'd already been
looking for rings. Remember we were down in Melbourne?
Oh, but that was the first time. Yeah, that was the that was early in the year.
Yeah, we went for a
Yeah, I do remember that actually. I do remember that.
And I mean, we went to this place, Saroni, and it was like
Tyrone. It's called Tyrone just now, actually.
Tyrone?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember the first place you went to. Like, we looked at this first one. It was like, oh, geez, I don't mind that one. Looks alright. Come back, it was like 75k. He goes,
Not happening.
Wait, what's this?
Yeah, no wonder it looked nice.
Not happening. Not happening. Bit of a tight ass, someone might call me, but
75 jiggers for a
Yeah,
ring.
not bad. You're not Floyd Money Mayweather, mate. I wouldn't expect it.
my name's not Zac Lomax.
Yeah, exactly. Must be
No.
nice.
Must be nice. But yeah, so I'd had a Airbnb. That was my sort of thing, and she just done one of her courses at work, and then she I said, oh, let's go celebrate. Let's go. I've got this weekend organised. Let's go celebrate. So I gave her a little step one: pack your bags. We're going on an adventure.
Yeah.
And then she goes, what do you mean? What do you mean pack your bags? Like, what do I need to pack? I go, it says in here, maybe warm clothes, think hiking, think something. Like, think I just had a broad range, so I just throw her off a little bit. So it was, threw her off, and she was flustered. She was like, didn't know what to do. She said, help me pack. I go, no, toiletries, warm clothes, pajamas, and comfy clothes, and nice clothes. So I had it all step, like, dot points there. It's like, that's all you need. Like, I've planned this out. And she had no idea that was going. So, and then hopped in the car and said, step 2, buckle up, we're going on an adventure sort of thing. And then step 3, had like a winery booked in and all that stuff. And then I had multiple more steps. In step 4, I said, we're going on another adventure, more at my alley than yours. And I said, because I said in the more, like in the things, think hiking, so more like out in a bit more of a country sort of area. And then, no, you're from Whoop Whoop. And then so step 5 had a blindfold and walked up this little hill, and her sister was already up there at this time, and had a little our song playing and whatnot. Had a blindfold walking up, and then got down on the knee and bawled my eyes out like I haven't never before, just because so emotional and happiness.
For
and then asked her, will you marry me? And then she bawled her eyes, and it was just a special moment, very special moment. That's something you'll never forget. And unfortunately, if I had to pick a different day it'll be on, it's on someone extra long nose's birthday, but it is what it is. But I was like, no, it's sort of like the only weekend that we sort of had off together, and because I was going to do it before, but because she was studying so hard for this thing, she wouldn't be able to relax and thing, because it was a pretty important exam that she had for work. So yeah, and then.
Well, that's very exciting.
It was a great day. It was a very memorable day. It was she goes, I'm actually like, I could not have done any better of what you've done today. And I was like, oh, that's the main thing. I had a little bit of help from her sister. I said a lot of help before, but I had a little bit of help, and then not really much long nose, but they always asking me, because obviously you speak to your close mates about something.
Of course.
When's it happening? And I go, it's happening soon. And I was like. And I know he always reminds you that his birthday's coming up. What do you get me for my birthday and stuff like that?
Yeah, I was going to say...
hang on a second. Shit, it's on his birthday. Like a bloody filthy. I was like, but it is what it is.
It would be hard to forget. The positive is it will be hard and almost impossible to forever forget your engagement day, because he will remind you 100%. Weeks ahead.
100%.
So a bit of potential unplanned strategy, you could even call it.
Yeah, well, I never knew. I was like, oh, and then Emily goes... What? Zach's birthday? Oh, like she rolls her eyes back. No, she doesn't. So yeah, that was very special. And after that, we sort of got to go over America for a couple of weeks in the off season. So it
Yeah.
was a pretty lovely off season. Really enjoyed myself.
I was trailing you on that
Yeah, I
trip.
know.
I was
You
a
were
couple of
right on
days
my tail.
behind, right on your tail, and not as many spots as you, but some similar places over the course of 2 weeks. Would you say that the trip to the US, like, as a reset for you before coming back into pre-season, and just as I think almost it's nice to get away. I know one thing that I picked up, and I spoke about it a little bit on a solo ep of the pod, one thing that I found from the trip away was a little bit of time outside of your zone where you spend a little less time on social, you spend a little less time talking to different people and sort of feeling that busyness, that little bit of solitude and silence you get outside of your usual space was great for my headspace. Just to like recap the year, look at the year ahead and sort of figure out what I wanted. How was the trip for you mentally and just to get you refocused and realigned?
Yeah, it was really good, but I was a bit worried about my weight at the same time. Like if my weight got too high, and because I only come back and I had 2 weeks to get back and I had to get back at a certain weight, I was like, I started stressing out because obviously over in America they do everything, bit exercise and all exercise and extra large and all that stuff. So I was a bit worried about the back of my mind, but it was really good. Because like I think we were over there we left on the 1st and got home on the 23rd of October. So it was 3 weeks, and I think by the 20th, so I had NBA opening night in Golden State and versus Lakers, the ring ceremony, so that was wicked. But after that, so we had Alcatraz the next day, and after Alcatraz over in San Fran, Emily really wanted to go and do that. I was ready to come home, but we still had 2 more nights. I was like, I just need to get home. I was looking at flights, like how much are they? I was like, I can't really justify myself spending that much just for 2 extra nights, but that was when I was ready to come back and get in a trainer and get stuck in a trainer. So it was a good reset because obviously had one of the best days of my life, got engaged to the love of my life, and then obviously go to America, go watch sporting events, something I've always wanted to do. I'm sure everyone would want to go to America one day. I got the opportunity to do that, and then come back and I knew I was like 2 weeks ago back to train. I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go back. I need to go back now, sort of thing. That was like a good reset mentally. But I guess it's really hard at the same time because we were all in the media every bloody day for different reasons. And it was like, you try to eliminate from it. And I was like, Emily showed me something in like night 3 or 4 that we were there. And I was just like, oh my God. And then after that, after media, after day, after media, after day, I was just like, this is ridiculous. I'm supposed to be off season and we're in the headlines more than what we were, and like especially our club it was really frustrating at the same time. But I managed to just pretty much get it off social media in a way, or so you really couldn't see it. But like I said before, after Alcatraz in San Fran, I was ready to come back and get in the training.
Sure.
I was like, it's go time, and especially after the last several years that we've had. It motivates you in a way as well. Probably Zac can talk about this as well. You're really motivated because you got so much to prove and so many people to, I guess, shut up in a way. That's like the mindset going forward, and just like,
of course. But
like, yeah, you can get frustrated. I could talk about this all day, but probably getting a bit more heated than what I should be here. But it does frustrate you of what a lot of people do say about you on social media and a lot of the journos and all that stuff. So you just try not to buy into it too much.
How do you do that? Because I feel like I've gotten a little bit better at it. And I've been very lucky that I've only really copped a lot of positivity, but my performance isn't on display every week. You know what I mean? People can listen to an episode of the pod. There may be 1 or 2 things they may not like, but it's as a host of a podcast whose job is to help people assist in sharing their stories. Mine and my performance is never really under the spotlight like it is for you guys as athletes. So when things aren't going to plan and when the conversation turns negative, what would be a coping mechanism for you to make sure that you're staying positive through that period of time?
Yeah, I guess you try and stay positive. You go, no, it's not really. You just don't really try and buy into it too much in a way.
Yeah.
You don't want to give that energy because our role, our life, our job takes so much energy and so much dedication to get to where we need to be. So if you give that 5% of your energy or 5% of your time, you're losing 5% of where you can get better. And that 5% could be 2 points in a game and 2 points on the ladder, you know what I mean? And I think it's so important to not try and, I've like I said before, I've got better at dealing with that sort of stuff over the last couple of years as well, because it's like people's opinions don't matter, but people's people are entitled to their opinion, especially with us. And I guess Zac touched on before, like, we're not just judged at training every day or every week. We're judged when we go to the shopping centre. Especially like Zac probably speak a bit more, he's a bit more high profile than me, a bit more recognisable. But like I've had multiple people come up to me and say, geez, Zac Lomax is an absolute tosser. And I was like, he's actually not. He's actually one of my best mates. And I'm mates with this other person, and it's like, he's actually not. Like, it's just like he's perceived, like he might be getting peppers for someone to get a photo, or someone might be a little bit intoxicated, might pepper you and like, oh, sorry mate, see you mate. Like, it's just like, you don't want to have a conversation with someone that you don't really have to, you don't know, and they so that's not, we're not just judged on the footy field, on the training paddock or whatnot. We're judged every step of our sort of lives when we're in the spotlight, because our whole lives are getting pretty much broadcasted to the world, and the media
Definitely.
gets a hold of one little story and it runs with it. And
I'll say on that topic, right, like you guys would be maybe, I think by the time Zac had you on the pod, he had probably had 3 or 4 other NRL players and guys from the Super League, etc. And I think I've been blessed that I spoke about this recently in an interview. The podcast has probably made more of a man out of me, and what I mean by that is it's given me empathy. I think now 148, 150 episodes in, when you hear people's stories, you realise that people come from different places, different spaces, have lived different experiences. Everyone has a unique story. The fabric of who someone is dictated by all of their experiences, which are not your own. And I remember probably in the first 20 years of my life, you know, even into my early 20s, thinking that people should react to every situation and circumstance in their life like I would. But I react because of my experience, they react because of theirs. And once you begin to hear people's stories, to have to hear them out and listen, you start to respect that everyone's cut from a different cloth.
yeah,
Absolutely.
And you've got to have empathy. And so I think I was probably, and I can understand why some people are quicker to judge because they've not experienced anything else. And so that's something I always encourage people who listen to the show or view the show to do is have empathy first, ask questions, listen. Don't always, it's this thing in society, especially with Australian athletes, guilty before proven innocent, right? Not the other way around. And I think it's the same for the amount of people who ask me what Zac's actually like because they see us hanging out a bit. And I'm like, one of the nicest blokes you'll ever meet. Super selfless, loves his family. The amount of times that people have actually brought up stuff that you've done for people, like positive things that I didn't know about because you don't go around gloating about it.
depends who you are.
Yeah,
He does a little bit.
yeah. It's you know what I mean. So I think that's the thing, and that's for me. Someone actually said to me the other day. They said, mate, I always wondered what Zac was like because I played a bit of footy against him growing up and he's pretty cocky on the footy field and, he's a pretty confident guy. And then they actually said, this is me pumping my own tyres up a little bit here. They said, fuck, if he's hanging around Driver only hangs around good people. And so they said he must be not a bad bloke. And I said, yeah, he's a very good bloke. And it's the same for you, Block. It's why I wanted you on the show and why it's such a blessing to have you here.
I think, sorry to cut you off, bro.
Yeah.
I think with that, I think that's why Sloppy and I get along so well and we're best mates is because, like, we know what really matters to us, and at the end of the day, our families are the focal point to us, and we're best mates and we tell each other everything. But I think in regards to the media, mate, our club's like a real rich club in regards to history. There's been so much success at the club. So every time that there's something that goes on and someone looks the wrong way or something, or we're not performing the way we would have liked to, and obviously the last few years, we definitely haven't performed the way that we've wanted to. But that's why I feel we're in the media a lot of the time. But in regards to myself personally, I just look at it in regards to my family loves me at the end of the day, and I'm going to go home. My mum and dad are going to love me the exact same. I'm going to go back to my partner. That's my mates that I love and I spend the most time with. They're going to love me the same. We go to training every day. Slop and I talk about it every single day that we both train hard as fuck every day. We go there to become the best players that we can, but at the end of the day, we go there to become the best person that we can as well, and we hold each other accountable to it all the time. But in regards to people having their opinion, I feel the only people's opinion that you're gonna really respect are your teammates, your coach and staff, what they say about you, and at the end of the day, your family. But a lot of people, the people that do have an opinion are the media who get paid to have an opinion, and the naysayers, in regards to people that you got no idea about, they're going to go back with the same personal problems the next morning, go work the same job that they hate, working every day, and at the end of the day, they're going to have 2 minutes where they feel good about themselves, saying, "Well, he can't do that. He can't do that. He shouldn't have done this. He should have done that," and then that's it. So you combine to it as much as you want, but at the end of the day, we get to do something we love. Yeah, if you do feed on it, you can become pretty miserable, and you could feel real bad about yourself because mate, it does. And I've had a heap of shit put on me, absolutely. And you know, in regards to my performance, in regards to stuff with the barbecue that's happened, and anything
still gets brought up.
Like, mate, and mate, at the end of the day, you're playing a game of footy. Like, mate, I still go down to my local supermarket, and people want to tell me about, mate, what the fuck's going on with the club? Like, mate, you can't get away from it.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the end of the day, mate, it is what it is, and it's gonna be there.
Part of it, isn't
day. It's just it's part of it. So you can give it as much attention. You can give it as much attention as you want, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and it's gonna be there. Like you can't get away from it. But
I was saying this yesterday, right? I was having this conversation about notoriety, whoever you are, right? It gets to a point where if you do something really well in life, which is most of the time where fame comes from, it's like fame is just a byproduct of doing something really well, and hopefully it's something you love, and hopefully it's something that impacts the world positively, which you guys do every day. You put smiles on people's faces, fans of the game, and you know, give us entertainment, something to watch. And if you get that fame, it lasts a little while, and eventually, once you slowly stop to do what you do, or you become somewhat distanced from what gave you fame in the first place, you start to sort of sail off into the sunset and become a little bit unknown. And I think no matter how much you're in the spotlight in your youth or in the prime of your career, eventually you're going to be that 80, 90-year-old who's sitting down over a coffee and everyone walks past you and has no fucking idea who you are.
100%.
And I think that's probably when you get your peace. You know what I mean? Which is unfortunate you have to wait that long, but eventually you'll be forgotten. And, you know, as long as you know deep down that what you're doing in the meantime is positive and you're trying to have a positive impact on people, you know, that's how you put your head on the pillow at night, right? Regardless of what people are saying.
Definitely. You touched on something before about relationships, and that's something, because Zac always asks me several times to come on the podcast, like, let's go on a podcast together. And that's when you reached out to me and I said, yeah, let's go to sit down for a coffee. Let's get to know each other.
Yeah.
Like, let's really get to know each other. So we get to know each other, relationship, and you're going to open up more. You're going to be more honest, and you're going to respect each other a bit more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's one thing. When we sat down and had a coffee together, it's like, well, tell me a bit about yourself, and then I'll tell myself a bit about you.
Yeah.
I mean, tell you a bit about myself, I should say. I think that's important. Relationships are important, and that's for everyone. Like, with their opinions out there, like, you're welcome to sit and have a chat with us, and we're not actually all that bad of a people. Like, we're actually really genuine. If you need something, we'll actually do something for you as well. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
A lot of us are, 90% of us are generous people, very generous people with our time, and
I'll tell you what, like,
and all that stuff.
I think, like, obviously you go through your schooling and you know, you complete all your ATAR and you do that, but
Some do, not me.
I mean, I didn't.
Yeah, neither did I. Makes three of us.
I didn't as well. Like, I mean, but you learn everything. Like, everything. Like, football has taught me so much, and I reckon a lot of football, it's told me how not to be as a guy. I've learnt, and you look at football players, like, in regards to being on time, like, you wouldn't ever find a person.
Are you having a subtle dig at me here for being 5 minutes late?
You're never on time.
Late, were you?
You're never
Yeah.
on time.
That's not acceptable.
But
Especially with him, good to be careful.
Yeah, I had to change out.
He makes you feel real bad
I had to
about it.
change out of my tights because I knew that wouldn't be accepted.
yeah, well, you can't be rock over in the middle of the Wollongong in your tights and
Depends how you
coffee
see it.
at
Depends how you see it.
7:30.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jesus, I've learnt so much just from my day-to-day life and everything about since I've come into grade. Like it shoots you in the middle of the face. Like it's like you come into an environment where there's egos everywhere, and I mean, but at the end of the day, like these boys that you go to train with would do anything for you. Like and I feel as everything, it's easy to have a perception on a rugby league player, and I know there's a stigma around rugby league players. Everyone has their opinion on it, but I mean, at the end of the day, mate, like 90% of my best mates are like rugby league players. You get it? And like they're the most loyal guys ever because your morals are very similar in regards to hard working, dedication. Their family are all the front of them because of the dedication and support that they need from your family. So like everything's so I guess morally everyone's got the same thing. So I think that's why we gel so much. Obviously, but we're in the same environment all the time. But in regards to being the same people, I feel we're all the same.
You know what? The beautiful thing about that and what you said is, whilst people will always have their own opinions, the beauty of stuff like this, like sitting and having long form conversation, the beauty of social media for all of the challenges that come with it is it gives you guys the opportunity as good men amongst the game, as good men in sport, to uplift, inspire, to show that side of yourselves and allow people's perceptions to slowly change. And that's what you can hope, right? Is that you show up and consistently doing that changes the perception. And I think it's so nice that we're having these conversations on air for people to listen to, because for the younger guys coming through who are going to be in your shoes one day, whether that's in a year's time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time, who listen to and watch these conversations, to hear that it's about doing good, that it's about somewhat where you can serving others, that it's about discipline, hard work, showing up for your mates and supporting your family. It starts to change what drives people to be in that position. And so I think positive conversation is the start of the change of perception for the fans and the way that they see the players they look up to.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. You said two things there. You said discipline and hard work. I think that's two key pillars if you want to succeed in anything, really.
Of course.
If you have discipline and hard work, you're 50% there. You got to enjoy your time as well. But I really like, one thing for me, if I'm having fun and I'm looking forward to something, like I'm going to be really good at it. And if I'm having fun and I'm going to enjoying it, I'm going to be disciplined and I'm going to work hard for it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I think they're really key pillars, as you said before, and you said several others, but they're two really key pillars that resonates with me.
I love it.
What would you say, Slot, has been the biggest learning experience you've had from? Obviously you've had not the easiest upbringing in regards to you've been through your ups and downs, obviously with your mum passing away, and obviously your nan and pop have been outstanding. But in regards to that, your footy career, what would you say has been the biggest learning curve that you've experienced, or thing that you can take away?
Good question. On the spot, probably my mindset always is what's next. Like, what's next? Like, let's do the next job to the best of my ability. Like, okay, I've done that, or what's next? Like, for example, you make an error or something on the footy field. I'm just talking about football terms here. Like, what's next? Defend the set. Outside of footy, study and finish one course. Okay, what course do I want to do next?
Yeah, I like that.
That's one thing I'm I'm always about like, okay, like you need an everyday routine. Like, okay, you get up, okay, what am I going to do today? What's next? Okay, done 1 task, done 2 tasks, done 3 tasks. What's next? That's one thing I really, you win a football game, who's next sort of thing. Like, it's always what's happening next. Like, got to look forward to something. You got to have a plan to going forward for something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm studying at the moment, doing it, like I said before, just as my tutor, I'm building a certifying course. And like, once I finish that, I'll definitely do another course. You know what I mean? I think it's important. Like, I do really like this course, but I haven't found something that's love. And obviously, football's not going to be forever. So I'm looking, what's next after football?
You know, I like that concept. What's next? And I also I think you could add to that, what's next, and when it's challenging, won't be the last.
Definitely not.
Right? Because like there's that saying, the top of one mountain is the bottom of another. And I think that's life. And I think people go through life, and if they've not been hit by adversity yet, you can be naive enough to think you're going to get through unscathed. No one does. Doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you do. Something in life is going to test you. There's another quote: pain is inevitable, suffering is a choice. You know, we're all going to experience pain. If you love anyone or anything in life, pain is inevitable.
100%.
Suffering is a choice. So it's choosing to have that mindset of constant evolution, which you're obviously about. That mindset of knowing that challenges are going to come, you know, develop resilience, develop that attribute, those grit attributes, courage, resilience to get through the challenges you face. And that's important in football, but it's important in life.
Most definitely.
So in the theme of throwing you on the spot with questions, there's a consistent theme of the podcast, which is called 5 questions and 5 answers. And 5 questions and 5 answers is a consistent theme that's been a part of the show for probably 2 months now. It forms as the beautiful conclusion to a fantastic episode. It also serves as some people listening to or watching this might actually be catching it as a trailer for the ep to come. So if you love Blake Lawrie, if you love Zac Lomax, and you're listening to the 5 Q&A version of the podcast, I'd suggest you pause it and just go straight to the full episode. But for those of you who have been here for the long ride from the start, we'll dive into 5 questions and 5 answers. And what I think, we actually didn't do this while you're on the show, Zac. This is new to you. So I think we'll go to Blake first, and we'll let you throw in an answer for every question too. So the first of 5 questions is, if you could only recommend one book or a podcast to someone listening, what would it be? Not bad.
No, David Goggins one.
Can't Hurt Me?
Can't Hurt Me, yeah.
That was an answer yesterday. There's a new book too.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait for it. It's already pre-ordered on Audible, but
love it.
Can I say another one or not really?
Of course you can. Go for it.
Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink.
How good's Jocko?
I love that.
Love it.
That's like something. That's like for me personally, that's how does it handle adversity, and just say it's sort of for our term, just bite down your gumshoe, it'll bite down your mouth guard and fucking get through it. You know what I mean? That's
Bloody
what
oath.
it is.
Mine's without a doubt Tim Grover, Relentless. Love it.
Yeah.
Best
Is that a
book.
thick one? Heaps thick one?
No.
I've never seen
That's
that one.
Tony Robbins. That's,
okay.
Yeah.
Tim Grover, obviously he was Kobe Bryant's trainer forever.
MJ's trainer.
MJ's trainer as well. But bro, it's outstanding. I feel if you can bring that into obviously your football career, but just everyday life, man. He's just
for sure. That cleaner mindset, right?
Yeah. It's about. You've read it?
I've read it and
I've
listened to it.
I've listened to
I
it.
will say one thing that I love, Tim Grover, quote that I love of his: "Interested people watch obsessed people change the world."
Yeah.
You've got some quotes. You've been very impressive.
Right.
Like if I try to remember a quote, I'd be like, "How's it go?"
We've popped more head knocks than him.
Yeah, but to be fair,
he's airy fairy.
You know, 150 episodes of
He's like
hosting
poodle.
this show.
He's a poodle.
People would think there's
Jack Russell,
There's a
plenty to
big
say.
quote board there, but there's not. You've been very impressive.
But no, he's mad.
That's good.
Who, me or Tim Grover?
Both. You're not too bad. You got it right, bro. That's numero 1. What's numero 2?
Question number 2. Question number 2 is there a skill that you're in the process of mastering or an attribute that you're developing that sets your life up for success?
I'll go first.
No, sorry.
You're
No.
probably still thinking.
Oh yeah, I sort of got it, but you go.
What do you go for?
No, that's right. Mine's like my one this year going forward. I'm talking football terms is backing myself a bit more.
Yeah. So the self-confidence.
Yeah, self-confidence. Like go out and achieve it. Like go out and try things. Like you got to practice at training and all sort of things. Like yeah, like, don't be afraid of going out and achieving something that you want, that you know you can do, in a way, or go out and doing something that you've done. Yeah.
Can I put you on the spot here and get a specific?
Yeah.
No, just like
That's a
sort of
great
back
question.
myself a bit more on like the offloads and a bit more of a passing game and whatnot, and being a bit more vocal for what I want. I want to play finals football. I feel as if I've been pretty vocal about it at training so far last year. Because obviously that's the pinnacle. Everyone wants to win a comp, and when you play rugby league, like, your dream is to win a comp, and that's our dream, my dream. It's not just one of us, and it's everyone, a part of the whole club wants to win that. So that's one thing I'm doing at the moment, is trying to take more responsibility for not only my own circle but a broader circle as well.
For sure.
In and around training. Yeah, going out and trying things, but I'm doing it at training. I'm doing the work before in a training paddock and whatnot. I'm going out in the training paddock and doing it as well. And then once games come around early next year, I'm going to be trying it as well. You know what I mean? But it's about having that self-confidence in doing it, not just being a hit-up merchant or running hard and trying to play the ball. Like, I want to broaden myself and be a bit more of a threat for the team. You know what I mean? That's a big thing.
To add to the theme of quotes, I think what you're speaking about there is the act of confidence comes before the feeling of confidence.
Bingo. Another good one.
I knew you'd like that. I knew you'd like that.
Yeah, not bad. Give me some love. No, nice.
Zachy?
I would say, bro, mine would be patience. Like, I mean, Slot could, but he could definitely agree. Like, I'm the most impatient person ever.
We all are.
We know the Christmas tree was up 3 months ago.
Yeah, you remember.
Angry.
Bro, I'm so impatient, and I'm probably looking at it more in a mindset now where, you know, everything, I feel it's happening for a reason. So in regards to, I think to myself, like, why not? Like, why is it not happening now? Why am I not doing this now? Why am I not getting this now? Why is this not happening for me now? You know, it's just like, and my old man always says it to me, and I you know, I've had sleepless nights about things with how my footy career's going. You want it to be there, you want it to be here, but I'm thinking, you know, I'm always thinking, like, you know, I'd love to do this, I'd love to do that, I want to do this, like, why can't I do this now? And Dad's always saying, mate, just patience, it'll happen, mate, just be patient. And I talk to Taz about it, talk to Mum about it, and all my close family, and I'm like, mate, just be patient, it happens. You know, you're 20, you're 22, you're 23. Mate, things will happen. They happen how they're meant to happen, and you know, it's just understanding that, and it's just thinking, you know, it's easy to look and compare yourself to him or why am I not there? It's like, but you know, I just got to just be patient, and things happen the way that they're supposed to happen. Let things happen naturally, and that's what I find it hard, because, you know, I want things yesterday.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the chapters of life don't always make sense in the moment, but they do eventually, right? I could see you looking at me waiting for something profound.
I was waiting for something. I knew something was coming to this bloke.
But I'm not trying to sound profound here, but what I'm saying is there's definitely times in my life where I've thought, why is this happening right now, and why hasn't this gone to plan? And for me, a lot of my challenges with patience have come in the last couple of years. You know, even with my health was fantastic for the first 18 years of my life until it wasn't. And I always knew that my health could be a problem, but it wasn't a problem until I was 18. And then it tested me for 5-6 years before now I'm on that, you know, I'm on that way up the mountain, but I'm not naive enough to think that there might not be another test, right? But even with this career stuff now, as a podcaster, as a speaker, when I started this, I thought, "Fuck, this will just happen straight away." And I'm so lucky that I loved it. It's, you know, it's tested me. It sent me broke. I had to sell my place. I'm pretty close to being broke again. You know, all these tests and challenges come, but the one thing that I try to remind myself is, like you said, patience. And what the patience, and as hard as it is, that challenge of being patient every day has taught me, is that if I'm still here while times are tough, then I must be on the right track, because I love it. You know what I mean? And if you can continue to show up when you feel impatient, you know you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing, you're headed in the right direction.
And it's hard too, because, you know, it's easy for people to kick you too while you're down. You know, I don't need to be doing this.
For sure.
This is something that I enjoy doing. Yeah, you get paid and you get recognised for it, but there's a lot of shit that comes with it.
Bloody oath. And it's also it's a short game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, you're not playing rugby league your whole life. You're not retiring at 76 in rugby league. You're retiring in your 30s.
With a busted body.
If you're lucky enough to make it in your 30s as a rugby league player.
That's it, mate. That's it.
So
yeah, I think that's still something I'm learning, but I'm sure a lot of footy players would probably tell you, mate, they're not patient. But mate, that's the thing that I need to get better at. Geez, I'm the most impatient person ever.
Yeah. 7:05. Oh fuck, where you been?
Yeah, but, if I give you time, be there.
Yeah, and if you're grounded time, you got to be there.
Right.
If, in all honesty,
I did say 7:30. He said make it 7. I said I'll
make
try.
it 7. You'll try.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is.
You can't move other stuff around.
There.
You can't move other stuff around to make that time.
What was that? Sorry.
You can't move other stuff around to be on time.
At the end of the day,
Love doesn't wait, brother. Love does not wait.
Soph, cough.
He didn't know what to say there, eh? That was a good one. It's 2 down.
My third question is, and you've probably both spoken about themes of this, but I guess you can maybe even narrow it a little bit or get a bit more specific. What's one of the greatest challenges you've faced that's required the most personal growth to overcome?
I reckon adversity would be a big challenge that I've had to overcome, but I've grown at the same time.
Yeah.
I've come out of situations and whatnot better than what I was before. I guess that's a way, if that's answering your question.
Yeah. Would you say adversity, does that have shades of injury? Does it have shades of, loss with your mum? Shades of, career taking different turns and winds? Definitely.
And losses in football game, like last year, adversity makes me hungrier for the next season. There's plenty of things that you narrow it down to, absolutely anything. Like obviously, losing my mother at a young age, huge factor. Injuries, major factor. Not playing finals only playing 2 finals games in 100 games, major factor going forward in terms of rugby league. Outside of rugby league, adversity, I guess, in a way, wanting what my future wants to look like and actually trying to get it, like growing to get to that period.
Of course.
If that answers your question, but in a
answer.
way, it's a bit of a mumble or a bit of a couple of different angles come into it, but I guess that's one thing that's probably helped me grow and help is adversity and coming out on the other side better and keeps growing towards in the right direction, like I said before, what's next sort of thing.
Well, and here's the thing, right? I think adversity is a sign of the fact that you're having a crack at life, right? Like, it's easy to go through life not being challenged, but you probably won't get far.
100%.
You won't grow, like you said, and I think in your sport, if you want to be better, you got to face some challenges. It's the same for anyone in life, and I'd encourage anyone who's listening to this. It's easier to think that you don't need to grow because you're living life comfortably. You might have been in the same job for a little while, and it's kind of rock up and it's clockwork for you, or you're in your routine. Push yourself. You need to challenge yourself, and that's something I'm big on. I for a long time didn't. I was in a career that. I was challenged by my career when I was in real estate, and there were markers and, markers of success, and there were certain performance targets that I needed to hit. But physically, in my health, in the sort of relation to my health and my life outside of work, I never challenged myself. And that's why for me, preparing for my first ever marathon, and it doesn't have to be that for someone else, it could be preparing to run 5Ks. It could be, just getting up early in the morning. It could be reading a book. Once a month.
It could be anything. Exactly
100%, right?
I think if you, I don't know, it might sound a bit harsh or something. If you haven't failed, you haven't tried hard enough, in all my honesty.
Bloody oath.
In my belief. If you're going through life and you've never failed at anything in your life, you've got so much more potential to go out there and reach. Because if you fail at one thing, you go out there and you're going to achieve so many more things. You run 1K, the next week you run 1,500 metres, run 200 metres, go on step. That's just on terms of running, and then But yeah, I believe if you haven't failed before in your life at anything, you haven't tried hard enough. You've got so much more potential to reach in this world.
100%. Couldn't agree more. Zachy?
But I mean, I almost probably sound a little bit spoiled here, but mate, I haven't been struck with too much adversity. God willing, it stays that way in regards to, with my family. Obviously, I haven't had relatives pass away. God willing, it stays that way for as long a period of time as possible. But mate, in regards to moving down away from my hometown, home being a little country town, 4.5, 5 hours away, was obviously a big pill to swallow, and obviously it was something to better my career, but did that at a pretty young age, and then
Yeah, you were 14 at the time, yeah?
Yeah, when moved down.
That's young, man. Really young to move.
I still remember it clear as day, the day that I drove out. And,
few tears?
Yeah, mate.
Zach cries at the best of times.
I cried the whole way.
Nothing wrong with that, sorry. Nothing wrong.
I remember being 21, moving to Melbourne, and my family were like my spine.
Yeah.
They were everything, my support system. I'd never not had them around.
And I was like, until that, like, I'm the biggest mummy's boy ever. And I mean,
I can attest to that. You were on the phone to your mum a lot.
I mean, like, I reckon it was until probably 13. I couldn't go and stay. I couldn't go and sleep over at my mates' houses and that kind of stuff because I couldn't leave my mum.
I was the same.
I couldn't leave.
I was
mum.
the same.
I was like, oh no, you come stay over at mine. Have sleep over at mine, because I was like, bro, I was too scared to leave mum. I couldn't leave her side. But I mean, so that, man, it was probably like leaving my family. I mean, mum come down for the first, year and a half, 2 years, and then I was into school. But in regards to footy, obviously last year, copped a fair bit of stick, obviously through the barbecue and
year
that,
before.
Year before with there'd just been heaps of stuff in regards to performance and that kind of stuff, and this year in regards to performance, like, it's just in regards to that, it's probably that, and just knowing that I've probably matured a lot more as a man. And there's been, I've loved at a heap. Like, obviously Benny Hunt has been playing outstanding, but to see what he went through, obviously has made him the person that he is,
sure.
and the player that he is, and he's definitely come out the other side of it. But I've been lucky that I haven't been able to. I haven't obviously copped that, but I've copped enough to know, it's there, and it's definitely made me a stronger man for it, and a better player too. So, mate, in regards to that adversity, it's probably been going away from family, and but mate, as well as that, in turn, it's made me the person that I am too, because it's forced me to grow up. It's forced me to make adult decisions there from a younger age, which I definitely wouldn't be the man I am today. You know what I mean? And,
Bloody oath.
So it all comes hand in hand,
Well said, brother. Well said. The fourth question, boys, is there a routine that forms a part of, the evening or the morning ritual that sets your day up for success?
Apart from brushing your teeth. Nah, I like to go for...
I was going to say, don't tell lies on this podcast, mate.
You don't brush your teeth, boy.
Come on, mate. No, I like to... Training days, I like to go for a coffee. I'll find a coffee shop that's open before early start.
What you go to? Be honest. You go to around the Illawarra.
I'm a pick at the moment.
But like your actual spot.
Oh, coffee shop. There's a couple in Wollongong obviously training. Like, there's one out where I live now, been roasted in Coldwood. They go, Emily and I go to. Or we change up in Wollongong all the time, don't we?
We try and change.
Utopia is a good one. Utopia is a good,
Yeah.
The owner of Utopia is a good fella, big Zachy boy. Lee Mees, your local favourite. Lee Mees a good one as well. Lily J looks at they're lovely there as well in Wollongong. But yeah, I wouldn't have one. I said no, I've got to go to this coffee shop every day. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah. I'm a pickle's me little coffee these days.
I like it.
If you ever want to buy me one, Brad, never got one out yet. Perfect. Same as
Mate,
that.
once rocks up 15 minutes early to buy the coffee is hero.
Good or what?
When was the last time you actually shouted me coffee? I'm actually interested to know.
Not the last time before.
Seriously, without taking the piss, how many coffees do you reckon I've shouted you and you've shouted me in your time? Be genuine, 100%.
Percentage-wise, you wouldn't be able to get the numbers right.
Percentage-wise, I'll say 30%.
I reckon
It's
you're being
30%.
generous.
It's 30% in my favour.
70 years.
Yeah. And let me say this, right, quickly. Just remember where your media career started. I've provided a platform for you. So it's, you know...
Good in service,
Yeah.
face.
Yeah. It's all relative, brother. It's all relative. It's all relative. And also, you're getting double shots every time. So I'm paying that extra 50 cents. It all adds up, you know.
What did they order this morning? What did they have this morning?
Yeah, double shot flat white.
Did he get flat white? So the other day when you got a double
mix it
shot
up.
oat cap,
I'll mix it up.
you
Yeah.
threw me off. I was
You know
like,
what
this
I'm on
bloke's
at the
I'll mix it
turning
up all the
weird.
time.
Talia's
because,
rubbing
you know,
off on you already.
I'm not just...
Almond milk magic is me at the moment.
You never know
What's
what
your
you're gonna
magic?
get with me. That's the
Magic is a double Riz, 3/4 full, flat white.
Ristretto.
Double ristretto shot,
It's actually
3/4
it's
full.
actually tasty.
I haven't had
So
one of them.
the
I'm next
ristretto's
time with
a-
you, order me one.
Yeah, the ristretto is like a little sweeter.
I don't know, magic.
It's the first half of the shot, so it's smooth,
Okay.
smooth, baby.
I'm interested.
Yeah,
I'm interested. But in terms of other routine, like on training day, I usually go there, do my prep. I obviously got to do prep before the day 'cause you don't do any injuries
for sure.
and all that stuff. And post training, come home. Emily usually comes home pretty late because she's obviously on shift work. Have dinner ready. Finish early, go play golf. I like to keep busy. I can't remember last time I sat down and watched a full movie or anything like that. Like
Yeah,
I think Slops, I reckon he's underselling himself with his routine, and like me and him have like pretty much the same routine in regards to morning. So
Yeah.
I mean, and him and I try and pride ourselves on having a good routine, so that, and we keep each other pretty accountable with it, so that, you know, when shit does hit the fan and we're not playing how we would have liked, or we're not going as well as we could as a team, like we try and pride ourselves on, you know, that's where we can get our confidence from in regards to, you know, it's hard to get a little bit of confidence when you're not winning as many games, but, you know, where do you get your confidence from?
for sure.
So it's like we try and pride ourselves on having that routine where we get there, we're there early, we're there, we're doing a cardio sesh, or we're looking after our bodies, you're trying to get something extra, because it's like, you know, we try and rely on that. It's because it's easy to be able to, when you're winning, you know, we're not going to do it now, we don't need to do it, but you know,
Yeah.
we try and pride ourselves, and, you know, Sop's obviously not saying there, but mate, but he's second to none with his recovery. He's always on top of it. He always prides himself on doing that, but we try and keep each other accountable and do that all the time. Like, we try and be there as early as we can. We try and get everything sorted, but I feel like that's where I get my confidence from, is knowing that whatever I'm doing in the morning and after, it's like that's what's helping me.
It's interesting you say that, right? Because yeah, I know that from being mates with you. Like, we'll talk on the phone. Most of the time we talk is before 6 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, we're on the phone, you're on your way to training, or you're on your way to get sorted and start doing a few extras. I think people have this idea or this concept that rugby league players or people like yourselves are motivated. Not the case. It's discipline, right?
Yeah.
You know, and to quote the man Jocko Willing, discipline equals freedom.
bingo, love that one.
So
I
you
did
know,
my Instagram bio for a long time there.
yeah,
Rest up, yeah.
I don't know, you got a little tattoo of that.
I
But
like
yeah,
that.
the routine,
Toby.
I guess, like the start of the first session of every week, I usually do about 20 minutes of cardio. It's not hard. 5 minutes on the bike, 5 minutes on the rower, 4 minutes on the watt bike, and 5 minutes on the grinder at training. Maybe a sauna or something. Because if we have 2 days off, you need to get your body moving. I need to be
Sure.
right for training. We're there to train, not there to ease into training for the week and then be hitting the form by Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday. We've got to be full tilt Monday morning, ready to go. And after games, I guess me personally, it helps with to get my body moving. So I get a real bad delay soreness 2 days after.
Okay.
A lot of people, and there's a lot of people are the same, but a lot of people don't only get soreness the day after. But I'm a really bad, because we play a lot of late. Everyone plays late games, but we play especially a 7:50 game. Like, I get 2 days delay soreness real bad. Like, so we play on a Saturday, Monday morning, I'm struggling to move, so I go and force myself to get moving. It's not hard. I get a little sweat up or anything like that. It's not like breaking the bank, but
Yeah.
we've got a sauna training, ice bath, spa, stretching, and if I'm not right, if I don't get my recovery right or get my body right, I can't go out there and perform and look after
For sure.
and perform and have my teammates back when they need it. You know what I mean? It might be
Yeah.
one little inside shoulder where if I was that half a step quicker or half a step alert, ready to go.
I'm
it's a
massive on
sub-try.
recovery, eh?
Yeah.
And I'm not even an athlete.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I mean?
important.
Like
It's
I just
really
enjoy my
important.
training. So I'm always like, I reckon twice a week I'm in the sauna, in the infrared. Twice a week I'm in the ice. Like cold shower every morning, stretch as much as I can. Recovery boots 5 nights a week.
I think routine's a big one too. I remember the other night, Emily wanted to go for after dinner for a hand raffle, and I was like, oh, it sort of threw me out of routine a bit because I've been like strict on my diet, strict on my routine over, especially in pre-season, which is where all your gains are made, all your strength and everything. This is where you build your platform for the upcoming season. This is the most important part. And I said to her, guys, wasn't that keen to come up with dinner, but I'd done the right thing and we won it. We won a ham, so it was worthwhile. Christmas ham, so perfect. Have a good day.
Gone already, isn't it? Gone already, yeah. Gone in 60 seconds.
Cough. She opened it this morning, but yeah, so I was like, I'm a big routine guy, and like I think routine's really important. So that's like my routine. I only do cardio once a week. You know what I mean? It's just 20 minutes. Like sauna. If I know I need a bit of sauna a bit of more extra recovery, I'd go on a sauna 15, 20 minutes, spa, ice bath. We've got a lot of training, and I think I've got the recovery boots at home and all that stuff. I think they're really important, but routine's major, like very good. And
For sure.
Emily was a bit upset I didn't go watch Players Tag last night because it threw me out of the routine a bit the night before. She was a bit upset, but I had to ice my shin.
Sure.
I've got a little bit of a bumblebee on my shin at the moment. It's a bit of a wear.
But I reckon that's where, like, personally, that's where I get all my confidence from.
Yeah.
It's where I get all my confidence from, and the way that I look at it is, well, if I'm doing the same as, everyone else, then how am I getting any better? You know what I mean? Like, I look at, if we just train from 9 till 10:30, and then we've got gym from 11 to 12, like, well, if I'm doing the same, then I'm just going to be the same. You know what I mean? How's my game improving? So it's like, well, what can you do here? What can you do there? And your recovery is obviously massive, but especially when you're coming into season 2, your body's more banged up. But it's like, where can you pick up things? If I'm starting at 5:30 or starting at 6, and we're not needing to be there until 8:30, 9 o'clock, or if I can't do it there, it's like, well, I'll come home, maybe do a little bit of a boxing session or something. It's you try and do things here and there, and I feel that's where
Had to get it in, eh?
that's where I feel that's where you can get your confidence though.
Yeah.
And that's where I do personally, because it's easy to get confidence when you're winning games of footy.
For sure.
100%.
Yeah.
I learned that off James Graham. I don't know whether you were the same, but I learned that of a younger age. And he used to always do his extras -3, so we played a -3 session, so it's 3 days before a game. He used to always go a little 5-10 minute blow, and it works for him. Like his body might have been, like he might have done any training that day, but he'll go and do his little 5-10 minute blow on the field, like his little Malcolms, or he used to play his little go on grocery store game and all that stuff. So I learned that from him, and little things you learn from obviously older fellas coming through as well. But yeah, I've found something that helps me. Everyone's going to be different. Zac does his goal kicking before anyone gets there, where he doesn't have any distraction. He narrows his focus. Where I might go and do my 20-minute cardio, gets my body moving, gets my little heart rate up, and like I said, because you got to find ways to get confidence. Yeah. Because our game is so cutthroat. You could be off 5%, not even 5%. You could be off 2%, 1%, and you could lose a game, and that could be the season. You know what I mean? If we had won 2 or 3 extra games, we're in the finals, and we had a successful
how much of
year.
the season is made up of those little, 1 try losses, 1 point loss, 2 point loss? The game's closer than ever, right? So. It's definitely important. I love what you're saying. My last question is an opportunity for you both to get maybe a little bit more vulnerable, to get a little bit inspiring, maybe to create a quote that I then in future quote on the podcast. It's, if you could share one message with the world and encourage them to act on it, what would that message be?
Wow.
Some deep thinking here.
One message to the world.
Courage is key. So
Courage is key. I like that.
Courage is key. And I would say, it's easy to just go with the flow and do what everyone else thinks that you need to be. It's like, but you know, it's the same as yourself, bro. Like, you know, it'd be easy for you to just keep doing and keep earning your income where you were as a real estate agent, but this is what you love doing. Yeah, you're not making the cash that you wanted to make, want to be making, but
not yet.
Exactly, but you know where it's going. You know, and you're confident, and you've got enough courage to go, you know, fuck it, I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm confident that this is going to happen. You know, that's where I feel having courage, and that's the thing that I feel I've got is, you know, what I want to do, I'm more than willing that I'm going to have a crack at it. And you know, obviously rugby league's my focus, but I'd love to have a crack at heaps of different things. And
Of course.
who's to say that you can't do it? You know what I mean? But you've got enough courage to have a crack at it, and fuck, at the end of the day, being patient and things will happen the way they're supposed to happen.
For sure. Oh, I want to double down on that for a second. A guy that I had on the podcast, Rich Davini, former Navy SEAL, is the founder of a company called The Attributes and wrote a book called The Attributes. And he spoke to me, and I asked him a question. I said, Rich, whether there is or not a hierarchy of attributes, I said, firstly, define for me what an attribute is. And he said, well, it's something that can be developed. And I said, and if you were going to focus on developing one or two attributes in particular and put the most focus on them, for you personally, what would that be? And he said the grit attributes, which are resilience and courage. And he said, you know, the thing about courage is you feel as though in life you can be fooled to think that you have control over certain situations and things. He said, you don't have control over anything in life. You've got things that you can control, which are your actions, but you can't control what happens to you or the outcomes of your life. He said, but what you can do is develop the courage that when life feels out of control, you keep showing up, you keep turning up. And I think people have this idea or this concept that courage is something you just get, or courage is something you're born with. It's not. It's something you develop, and it's developed through your actions. And like you said, courage is key. And if you can develop that courage and continue to show up for yourself, even when things feel fearful or when times feel tough, life moves in the right direction. So I love that message.
Yeah, I do as well. It's actually a really good one, because I was thinking, and I was like, you got talking a bit more. I was thinking deeper. My message or my thing was that, like, don't be afraid of trying. Like, it comes down to that sort of courage as well at the same time. Like, that's one thing I'm thinking, and I go around, and it comes back to don't be afraid of trying, like, sort of thing. And that comes back to me, like, I'm not going to be afraid next year of trying different things, but I've got to do the work at the same time. I can't just go out there and throw it out of my ass, you know what I mean? Expect my teammate to get there. I've got to tell my teammates, like, I'm looking to do a bit more footy stuff, post-line, pre-line sort of thing, and I've got to tell them, I've got to build relationships with my playing, with my teammates, the people I'm going to be playing with and all that stuff. And same with anything, really. Don't be afraid of, if you want to do something, don't be afraid of trying. I mean, don't be afraid of failure. It's the same thing we were saying before. We've gone over it a number of times. Us three have all experienced failure in our lives. And I'm not afraid of failure again. Like, I'm not afraid of going there and I can't do it for one game, you know what I mean? I'm not afraid of going out and training tomorrow and failing at something. Like, it's a part of life, especially in our world, or in our lives. But
I think the big thing is you can say that you don't care what they're going to say, but fuck,
you do a little bit.
That's the reality of it. You know, do you have enough courage? Because it's, well, fuck, what's he going to say? What's he going to think? What's she going to think? And that's the reality of it. And you know, you can sit here and say, you know, well, I don't care, I do care, I don't care what they say, but the
we all
reality
do.
of it is,
we all do.
And,
do.
And the thing is,
and
not even deep down, it's not even on the surface.
it's like
A little bit, yeah, it's like, yeah, I'll brush over it.
learning how to deal with it, learning how to, you know, come back to it. And it's a hard thing to get over and to know that, you know, well, you got to have enough courage to be able to do what you want to do. And that's where, you know, you can look at people, and that's why, like, Sonny Bill does, you know, he plays here and then he's gone over and you know, what the decisions he's made rub people the wrong way, goes over and plays rugby union, and but then comes back to play rugby league. You know, rubs people the wrong way over on the union scene, but then he goes to boxing. You know, but he's had enough courage to do. Well, you know, this is what I want to do.
For sure.
And that's something that you look at and go, fuck, it's mad to see the courage that people do have, like that he does have.
Do you think courage comes then from not only action but self-awareness? Like being able to ask yourself, what do I want?
Yeah.
And, you know, like what do I want from my life? At the end of this thing that we call life, like what do I want to be remembered for? I've got a quote tattooed
100%.
on my leg, and it says, what we do in life echoes in eternity. Gladiator quote. And I've always believed that like you get one crack at this. It's not a dress rehearsal, and you have to rock up every day and do what means something to you. Like all we have in life are today's and hopefully tomorrow's, right? And it's like today you get to wake up. If you've got air in your lungs and a heartbeat, you've got an opportunity to do something that means something to you, that has impact on the world, that is of service to others, and hopefully for that you have success and you're remembered in a positive light. But at the end of the day, as long as it means something to you, as long as it feels purpose driven, it's all that matters.
I always think about it. I always think, you know, am I just gonna play footy? You know what I mean? Am I just gonna play NRL? Like, I always think about it. I'm like, is that just what I'm gonna do? Like, I don't know. Like, I think about it all the time. But I mean,
You do think about what your life wants to look like in 15, 20 years time as well, though. At the same time, like, and I'm like, I guess I said before that my self-confidence stuff, but that's what I believe my future life's going to look like. Like everyone, I look into the future a little bit of what my ideal life can look like post-football career, even in my next year and all that stuff, I think. And I'm striving for that, so that's like my big goal, end goal sort of thing. And you always, like Zac just said, like I'm always just going to play footy. Well, it's up to you. Like, what else do you want to do? Like, it's ever up to everyone. Like, what else am I just going to go to work every day, or am I going to go do something else? Am I going to be an entrepreneur or whatnot? Like, everyone's got different wants and needs, I guess, in a way.
Well, I think it's very easy to forget if you've not been tested before, like we said, or you've not experienced loss, or you've not experienced adversity, that you almost think that life comes around twice. And it's the cliche, right? That life is not a dress rehearsal. One of my favourite quotes is the Confucius quote that every man lives two lives. The second begins when he realises he has just one. And I know you boys would like this. But for me, like, that's why I see my health challenges as my biggest blessing. Well, not my biggest blessing. My family's my first, but my second biggest blessing and my greatest teacher. Because it's taught me that nothing in life is promised. That life is a one-time thing. That you have to give it everything you've got. And if you leave anything in the tank, it goes to waste. So rock up, have a dig, have courage, live without the fear of failure, and keep showing up, right?
Bingo.
I like it. And I guess, so I wanted to let the listeners know, a little bit more lighthearted.
Stitch up here.
No. After a game, or it could be, a couple of days, or even if you wanted to take the missus on a date somewhere, where's your go-to feed, or what are you going to have? I know you like your tucker.
What would you say it is? What would you say it is? Let's see how well you know me. What would you say it is? The one thing I would have to have.
Obviously,
after a game.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a hint. It's after a game at night.
Yeah, I know.
What is it?
How are you confident I'm going to get it?
No.
Vanilla milkshake.
Oh, a thick shake. What's up, baby? Not just for Macca's. Even not just for Macca's, but like at home. That's just one thing.
Vanilla thick shake.
Vanilla
thick shake, yeah. Or vanilla malt thick shake. Or like say I'll have it the next day or something like that. Yeah, that's one thing. Like I've actually been really good on my diet the last month. Like really, really like knuckling down.
Or dinner. What would you say?
Dinner. No, it makes me sick after a game. I can't really eat after a game.
Even doesn't need to be after a game.
The next day, like a good bacon egg roll and a vanilla malt thick shake goes down really well.
So he has a milkshake after the game, and then,
not after the game. No. Sometimes.
And then brekkie the next morning we go milkshake. Yeah.
No. Not all.
Yeah, I was gonna say that answers a few questions, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yours is chocolate. Eh? You love a bit of chocolate.
Oh, I love chocolate.
Dairy milk chocolate. You love that dairy milk chocolate.
Dairy milk, just plain dairy milk.
Yeah. He loves it.
I tell you what.
No, like the caramel one.
Yeah, okay.
Any chocolate.
I'll say
Love chocolate.
Soph and I have been eating probably a bit too much chocolate at home. I would normally try to keep away from it because the rig doesn't like it.
It doesn't at all.
It doesn't at all.
Guilty, don't worry.
But I will say I've been eating a little bit. You know what I've been eating a lot of lately? The mango macadamia wheat bars.
Yeah, they're gross.
Grouse.
The ones that...
Bro, grouse. Actual real macadamia pieces in there.
Interesting.
Very nice. Very nice.
Interesting.
Well, boys, we've nearly been chatting for 2 hours here.
Actually,
Well, you done already?
Whilst this
leave
bloke
it
here's been watching too much Rogan.
Nah.
He's got his fucking Ringers Western hat
Ringers
on.
Western.
Thinks we're here for a 3-hour Rogan podcast.
That's all right, player.
But boys, all good things do come to an end, and we've come to the conclusion of the podcast. I want to say, whilst there's been plenty of banter here, on a serious note, I admire both of your work ethics, your ability to turn up and cop the adversity and to keep moving forward. I'm very excited for the year that is ahead. Whilst I'm not a Dragons fan, I'm a Roosters man. Zachy knows this. A Roosters man through and through. I will say that I do have a soft spot for a team I once did not like too much at all, and it's because of this man and now because of yourself too, Block. It's a privilege to have both of you back on the show. A lot to talk about, has had a bunch of great guests in its time, and I'm really privileged that every time I get to sit down with someone who, I do scan the guests of the show. I make sure that I believe in who they are and the messages that they share and live their life through. And I love that both of you guys are a part of the show's fabric now. So thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you very much for having us, Brad. Appreciate
Pleasure.
that, mate.
I will say, bro, this is... I don't think I've... with Slop and I... Bro, this is probably more the deeper, more serious conversations that we've had. Slop and I don't really dive too deep into it.
Not really, especially on the personal level. I don't really express how I am. Even Emily only really sat down while we were over in America having a dinner together, having a couple of glasses of red, really started asking some questions about my childhood, a little bit. And I broke down to a little bit there, because I just don't, I don't express myself in that sort of thing about the story I did share. And Zac doesn't. One thing with Zac, I know how loyal he is, especially to his family. He'll give it, and generous he is, especially to his family and mates at the time. Even I do give him shit, he never really shouts at coffee. He does. He's very generous with his money, but he's on plenty. It does help when you're on millions.
Yeah, not bad.
It does, doesn't
nice.
it?
Must
be
nice.
nice.
A little bit out of touch with the common man, but
and even
quite Hamish and Andy.
And that's what, and that's probably one of the reasons why, like I said before, I did want to sit down and have a coffee with you to get to know you a little bit better. But obviously, Zac and I, we don't really express ourselves as much. It's the men's stigma, and it's got to stop, I guess.
For sure.
A way. But yeah, it is probably one of the first times we've sat down and got a little bit deeper underneath the covers a little bit.
Well,
you heard it here first. Is the Dragons hard man? He's one of the hardest in the NRL. Let me tell you, one of my best mates. But you heard it here first. He'll be Dalian front row of the year.
Oh, well, that's a big call.
I'm calling it out.
I like it. Put your money on it.
And he'll re-sign.
Envy the banks.
The Red V will stay by my side for another 3 years, 4 years. I'm going to
helps when you
call
got a
it
mortgage
soon.
on.
I love it. Put your money on it. Put the house on it.
More money with it.
Blocka, front row of the year, Dally M. Thanks so much, boys. And just on what you said there, Block, I think vulnerability creates a bridge for so many people to cross. And I know there'll be a bunch of people listening to, watching this podcast here today who feel like they can go have those sort of conversations with their mates or someone close to them or someone who feels safe after listening to this today. So it's been an absolute pleasure, boys. For everyone listening to the show, you can find these boys' socials in the show notes. Get around the Red V this year. Really excited for the season to come and can't wait to rock up and watch you boys do your thing. So
Awesome. Thanks, brother.
Take care.